Hello everyone. In this video, I'm going to talk a little bit about the Miller versus Alabama case that is behind the reason why some of the inmates that was convicted as youth is now getting a new hearing to find out if they should still remain behind bars. And after a chat with Nicole VanNoty's mom, I decided that since I had started the videos about what's going on with Nicole's case, that I would read this article that I have found that is basically the reason behind the, I don't know what you would call it, the reasons that these people are now getting a new trial. And in Nicole's case, Jason Symonds, that was convicted when he was 14, I believe, for killing Nicole at the age of 5. Then they have started psych evaluations and stuff on him, and they keep postponing the court dates, and the court date is now set for sometime in 2023. As far as I know, they cannot even give her mother a definite date. So this is on oyas.com, or no, .org. And the petitioner was Evan Miller. The respondent was Alabama. Docket number 10-9646. Decided by Roberts Court. Lower court was the Supreme Court of Alabama. Citation 567 US _ 2012 in parentheses. The advocates on this case was Brian A. Stevenson for the petitioners, John C. Neiman Jr., Solicitor General of Alabama for the respondent, and Kent G. Holt for the respondent in the companion case. It was granted November 7th, 2011, argued March 20th of 2012, and decided June 25th of 2012. And it says facts about the case. In July 2003, Evan Miller, along with Colby Smith, killed Cole Cannon by beating Cannon with a baseball bat and burning Cannon's trailer while Cannon was inside. Miller was 14 years old at the time. In 2004, Miller was transferred from the Lawrence County Juvenile Court to Lawrence County Circuit Court to be tried as an adult for capital murder during the course of an arson. In 2006, a grand jury indicted Miller. At trial, the jury returned the verdict of guilty. The trial court sentenced Miller to a mandatory term of life imprisonment without the possibility of parole. Miller filed a post-trial motion for a new trial, arguing that sentencing a 14-year-old to life without the possibility of parole constituted cruel and unusual punishment in violation of the Eighth Amendment. The trial court denied the motion. On appeal, the Alabama Court of Criminal Appeals affirmed the lower court's decision. The Supreme Court of Alabama denied Miller's petition for writ of certiorari. Yeah, okay. This is going to be something that has a lot of words I'm going to mispronounce. In the companion case, petitioner Control Jackson, along with Derek Shields and Travis Booker, robbed a local movie store in Blytheville, Arkansas in November 1999. The three boys were 14 years old at the time. While walking to the store, Jackson discovered that Shields was hiding a shotgun in his coat. During the robbery, Shields shot the store clerk, and the three boys fled the scene. Jackson was tried and convicted of capital murder and aggravated robbery in July 2003. The trial court sentenced Jackson to a mandatory term of life imprisonment without the possibility of parole. In January 2008, Jackson filed a petition seeking a writ of habeas corpus in circuit court. He argued that his sentence was unusual and excessive, violating his rights under the 8th and 14th Amendments. The circuit court dismissed the petition and Jackson appealed. The Supreme Court of Arkansas affirmed the lower court's decision. So the question is, does the imposition of a life without parole sentence on a 14-year-old child violate the 8th and 14th Amendments' prohibition against cruel and unusual punishment? They say the answer is yes. Writing for a 5-4 majority, Justice Elena Kagan reversed the Arkansas and Alabama Supreme Court's decisions and remanded it. The court held that the 8th Amendment's prohibition against cruel and unusual punishment forbids the mandatory sentencing of life in prison without the possibility of parole for juvenile homicide offenders. Children are constitutionally different from adults for sentencing purposes. While a mandatory life sentence for adults does not violate the 8th Amendment, such a sentence would be an unconstitutionally disproportionate punishment for children. Justice Stephen G. Breyer filed a concurring opinion. He argued for an additional determination that the offender actually killed or intended to kill the robbery victim. Without such a determination, the state could not pursue a mandatory life sentence. Justice Sonia Sotomayor joined in the concurrence. Chief Justice John G. Roberts, Jr. filed a dissenting opinion. He reasoned that the court's role is to apply the law, not to answer questions about morality and social policy. The majority did not sufficiently characterize the punishment as unusual. Therefore, the punishment did not violate the 8th Amendment. Justice Antonin Scalia, Clarence Thomas, and Samuel A. Alito joined in the dissent. As I said, this was found on www.oyez.org. And this is the case that is behind Symonds trying to get his appeal to get, I don't know, I guess maybe a completely new trial to see if they will sentence him again. And like Nicole's mother stated, if the judge says that, let's say he gets 60 years for the murder and rape and everything's so horrific in this case upon that little 5-year-old angel, then he's already served 28 years. So his life without parole would only be what is remaining of whatever the judge sentences him to. And like I said, they're awaiting his psych evaluation, which is a whole other issue, because I'm seeing a lot of the psych evals going up on many cases. and everybody is learning how to play the system. That will be a video for a later time. But they as in Nicole's mom, is still asking for people to write the judge that he should keep the sentence that he was originally given because of how horrific the crime is. And my last video about Nicole did have some of the stuff that was done to her in it, and I'm not going to make a video that describes the full horror of the case, because I don't want to have her family relive that horrific moment. If anybody wants to look up the case and find more than what I said in that last video, then please do. But I know that her mother, watches these videos and stuff, and I don't have the heart to put her through all the traumatic details again, because it has already been lived. He was sentenced, and because of this Miller versus Alabama ruling, there's a possibility that that psychopath will get out. And when it comes to kids behind bars, there is a lot of controversy. And since I am bringing awareness to Nicole's case, I will be doing some research on other teens and stuff that have been arrested for murder, robbery, arson, like you name it. I'll look it all up, because it's something that's going on in this world, and more people need to be talking about it. They want to put black men in jail saying that they're stealing, gum or something in a store, and they're wanting to give them 30 or 40 years. But a white man can murder a 5-year-old child and, do minimum time. And there's a lot of cases that I have come across that have a lot of racism and stuff in them through the sentencing and how they go about the courts, which, that's not really the case on Nicole, but it is how the system works, unfortunately. And Nicole's case is a sad one, and up closer to the time that is for the new trial and stuff, I will be doing a live video with her mother, so hopefully we can help get her some funds and stuff so she can travel to Michigan, where the court is going to be held, because they live in Florida. So this family really needs some help, and hopefully Sunny, this is for you, sis, I'm hoping we'll have her on as a guest one of these days, so that she can tell her story to a bigger audience. And hopefully we can seek justice once again for little Nicole. Have a good night, everybody.